Hi everyone, I'm finally back and feeling quite motivated. So it's really cool, got some awesome ideas. This is a pot that a friend and I saw on the internet, and I will put it in about here, but it has actually turned out really differently, but that's okay. I'm not too worried because I think it looks really cool. I might go back and buy another vase and try the pot again so it looks more closer to the picture. So what I'm doing now is just adding layers of baking soda paint and texturizing it. I did the brown as I thought I wanted that color to come through. It didn't, so it didn't really matter. But so what I'm doing here is I thought this might create some more texture, so I've just sprinkled the baking soda on top of the baking soda paint, and I'm spraying it with the vinegar in a hope that it does create you can see the bubbles on there. That's the kind of texture that I'm was wanting. Now this didn't really work to the extent that I wanted it to, but it did actually give a really nice texture, and it has blended, because it was so much liquid on it. In the end, it has blended the paints in it. You can actually see here the kind of texture that it has done. So it is quite cool, but it's not as holy as I actually wanted. So here I have just gone in around the top section of the pot to give it just a layer of the green where there was no of the baking soda paint. So with the textured layers now done, what I am going to do is go in with embossing powder, because that's what I chose to bring the colour of the gold through with it, and I happened to open it the wrong way, which was most annoying, but anyway, we got there. So yeah, so what I'm going to do here is just go in and add a layer of the golden embossing powder, and the plan is to go over top of that just on the ridges so the embossing powder still shines through. I really like the way the embossing powder has given that metal effect. I did consider using gold leaf. It would have been brighter, but oh well, I had the embossing powder there, I felt to use it, so I did. The only thing is, it is very expensive. I think for 12 grams I paid $12, and I had to buy $11. I had to buy 3 colours to get the one colour, but yeah, maybe not $12, but anyway, it's still stupidly expensive. So I did actually wonder about making my own, and I did try. Didn't have much luck, I might add. I did find a video on YouTube, and it was the one where the man was using the pledge floor polish, and yeah, I tried it with something else because I didn't have and can't get that particular floor polish here in New Zealand, and what I tried with didn't work. I thought it would, but anyway, it didn't work. So I might give it another go if I can actually get hold of some of that floor polish. But I definitely found the product that I got, I could not get it fine enough to resemble the embossing powder, or actually even melt, even though it was a gloss acrylic So yeah, but anyway, it was a fun experiment, and like I said, if I can actually get the product that this gentleman used, I will try it. This was the first section of the embossing that I did. I was a little tentative here as I was unsure about how the heat gun was going to affect the glass, because it's a glass pot that I'm using, a glass pot. Yeah, but it didn't seem to have any adverse effects. I think it was enough paint on there to baking soda paint to guard it. So here I am just going over top of a blue, and it was a Pthalo turquoise that I was using, and it was just too blue. So then I went in with Pthalo green, but I've added some white to this, so there is a difference between the green underneath and the green that I'm putting on the top. I am still thinking it's too green, even with the finished product, but I've decided to leave it as is for now, until such a time where I decide that it is far too green and I'm going to do it again. But I do quite like it. So you can see the gold that's coming through, and it's not coming through over the top. In fact, it could actually come through a bit more, and for that reason I did actually do some more embossing after the final layer, because it had been covered up a great deal of what I did. But yeah, so just to add some aging, I went in with my favourite orange paint, so it looks a little bit rusty. I did it in and around little few places around the pot, and around the top and the rim, the neck rim, because I thought it would look really good there as well. I also went back in with my Pthalo green sponge and just blended it a little. I also, in some of the areas where I put the orange, I rubbed in some of the embossing powder and used the heat tool in that, just so it added another, well, I felt like it added another dimension to it. It looked like really rusty brassy, gave it a really rusty brassy effect, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So from there I also went in with a wash, and this was a turquoise, no, it was actually the green, it was another Pthalo green, but it was a Liquitex ink that I put on it. I've also gone in and added some of the orange ink, which isn't a Liquitex, but I will add it, the name of it down below, because I can't think off the top of my head what it is. Actually, I thought I'd better make a point of this, because it is a golden colour, and it's a nickel atoll gold, and they're not actually making it anymore. So there is a video out there that tells you how to make it with the golden colours, so I will actually put a link in here and a link in down below to the video, because it is such an amazing colour that, and I use it quite a bit in my aging technique. So now I am going in with just a gloss varnish to seal it, and after I have done that, I'm going to try, so I've already given it the gloss varnish. I must have cut that bit out of the editing, I apologize. So what this is it, I saw a video a year or so ago about making a varnish from polystyrene. So that is what I've done. Essentially melted down the polystyrene and made a varnish from it. It's very smelly and dries very quickly, but it gets very sticky also, so I didn't want it to stick to the granite, so that's why it's on those pieces of cardboard, and it goes really quite stringy, sticky. It's weird stuff. It's good, but it's weird. So once this is dried, I had a look at it and I was really happy, but I also felt like I think the varnishing, the two varnish layers had actually covered up a lot of the embossing powder that was in there. So I'm just go back in with a little bit of the powder and just touch it up a little bit. So I'm using glycerine here instead of a embossing stamp pad, because I watched a YouTube video on that, and so this is the finished part. I think that last additional layer of the embossing powder has pulled it all together and it looks really good. I'm still not 100% on how much green there is, but I do like the depth of the orange in it that both those orange colours have added to it. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Yeah, please let me know what you think in the comments below.